Hello and good evening and welcome to a special program on NewsX brought to you by NewsX. In the 21st match of the 2023 World Cup, India chose to bowl after winning the toss against the New Zealand in Dharamshala. New Zealand batted first, reaching 205 for 4 in 36.5 overs. Well, the match is still on. We'll get the experts in a moment, but before that, let's hear what happened. With Daryl Mitchell nearing his 5th century, Tom Latham was out for a 0 LBW by Kuldeep Yadav. Mohammad Shami dismissed Rachin Ravindra's 75 runs and Will Young at 17 runs. Devon Conway was caught by Mohammad Siraj of Shreyas Iyer for 0. Rachin Ravindra, yes, the man who's got two names together, Sachin and Rahul Dravid, yes, is in a devastating form. Rachin Ravindra and Daryl Mitchell stabilized the New Zealand's inning with the team not losing wickets between the 11th and the 30th over. Yes, scoring 113 runs, and the score at 30 over was marked with 147 for 2. The batsmen played Jadeja cautiously while Siraj attacked and Kuldeep in the 19th over. Kuldeep conceded 16 runs. Ravindra was caught by Jadeja in the 11th over, but survived due to a successful DRS review in the 29th over, and KL Rahul dropped a catch in the 30th over. Well, this is a story of great partnership and missed catches. Well, I'd like to get my esteemed panel right now in the show. We'll get on to Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, who's been with us all this day today. Mr. Sharma, we had a great start, winning the toss, getting 2 quick wickets. Then suddenly we squandered the lead that we had. Your views on it, Mr. Sharma?
I think we must give credit to the batsmen, Rachit, and the way they have played. Both of them had a wonderful partnership, and they really played positive cricket.
Right.
But laps of catches. We dropped 2 catches, which have costed us heavily.
Yes.
So we are to blame ourselves also for this partnership. And India has to fight back if they want to remain in this match, and they have just got a wicket, which is important that Kuldeep has taken 1 more wicket. So now I think India is pulling it back.
Well, is it too late to make a comeback in this stage, or we are still in the game? Is India still in the game, Mr. Sharma?
Yeah, definitely we are in the game. Wicket looks good, Sunil. India has the power to chase a big score, and
right.
Ball is coming on to the bat. So I think it won't be that easy for New Zealand bowlers also to contain Indian batsmen. If we get a good start, I think we can make it big. So India has to just focus here and keep it very tight for the remaining overs.
Absolutely, we have to keep it very tight. Chris, you've been involved with our World Cup production since the day one. Chris, just tell us, is India bowling in the right spot, or are we bowling a little too short, considering that the pitch is different at Dharamshala and so is the weather and the atmosphere?
We can say that maybe they've just missed their length a little bit, but when you look at it, I still believe New Zealand hasn't run away with the game yet. On this wicket, India has been so good in chasing, and I still believe that anything that is less than 320, these guys would definitely go for it. All that is needed, if they start well with their batting, I believe that India will chase it easily.
320 is what the experts feel. Tasneem Granger, if you're there with us. Tasneem, what is the latest right now happening?
So currently New Zealand are 246 for the loss of 5. They still have 4.4 overs in hand for them to try and do something. We did speak about the fact that in the last 10 overs, teams have been accelerating. Maybe the loss of maybe 1 or 2 wickets towards the end, but not forgetting that Daryl Mitchell is still in there. And we've seen he's just been great for me today, He came out earlier in the innings and he was walking down the track, hitting it, not exactly middling it, but he's come out with intent from the start of the game, and he's shown that he's here to do something today.
Well, sir, Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, if you look at the way things have gone in the modern day cricket, especially in the last 5 games or so, 8 overs, 100 runs is a par score. Do you think they can still, with 5 wickets in hand, they can still make a comeback and score like 50 odd runs? Mr. Sharma, if you can hear us.
Yeah, they have a very good chance, and they will go for it. Sunil, they will like to cross 300 marks. That that will put a psychological advantage for
Yes.
keep. They'll try their level best. So now it is up to our bowlers and our fielders to keep it very tight and keep it below 280. I mean, India is capable of chasing 300 also, but sometimes it adds pressure when it is 300 or above. So I expect Indian bowlers to contain them for around 280, 285, and we have a very good chance to win this match.
Well, we do certainly have, considering that all the matches India has chased in the World Cup, they've chased it pretty well. For example, versus Australia, they've chased in 41.2 overs, versus Afghanistan, 273 in 35 overs, versus Pakistan in 30 overs, and against Bangladesh, 41 overs. So, do you see this match going down to the wire? Because if it does, Indian middle order will be challenged, will be put under test, and that will be a cause of worry? Or do you think it's a good sign, it's a blessing in disguise? Because as you go on from here, all the matches that India has will be tougher. Your view, sir, Mr. Rajkumar Sharma.
Yeah, very valid point, Sunil. It will be a good test for Indian batsmen, especially middle order. And but I'm hopeful that India gets a good start. And if Rohit and Shubman gives India a good start, I think we can always build on that. And India is capable of doing it because Rohit looks in a wonderful
Yes.
form, and so is Shubman. Virat again is playing crucial innings. So I think if these three gets good start, they will make they are capable of making it big. And then we have got Shreyas Iyer, KL Rahul, and Surya. So we have got a lot of depth in our batting today. Where we have got 6 pure batsmen. Then we have Ravindra Jadeja. So I think India can chase 300 runs also. But the important part is that we should get a good start.
Also, we should get a good start, considering that Rohit Sharma, who scored 265 runs in 4 innings, and he's got an average of 66, and he's faced 193 deliveries with a strike rate of 137. But again, Virat Kohli isn't too far. 4 innings and 259 runs with 129 average and a strike rate of 104. Well, that sums up the entire way, the batting lineup of India and the way India has chased. We are master chaser. But let's take a step back and consider Christopher Mufofu. Chris, if you were the coach of the Kiwis, what would you advise them? What would you advise them? Where to pitch the ball? Considering you've just scored 300 odd runs between 280 and 300, what would be your advice?
Straight away, psychologically, as my other brother said it, 300 psychologically, it just says something. Already, as a coach, I'll tell them that already we are actually with the upper hand. 300 is not an easy score to chase, but as you go in there as bowlers, just try and pitch the ball up as much as you can. You've got Trent Bolt, someone who can swing the ball. Most of their bowlers swing the ball very well. Try and test that line and length and see what happens. If it doesn't come through, and then you still actually you can push your field set back. But they are new bowlers. They've been pretty bowling well, swinging the ball early. So just try early and see what happens. Get to try and hit those pads and see what happens.
Well, it's a question that I would like to ask Mr. Sharma later, but you first. You've been watching it from the outside. You've got a vantage situation, point advantage. Just one question.
Yeah.
Is this a masterclass on how to handle Indian bowling in the Indian condition amongst the Indian fans?
Definitely. I won't say a lot, but definitely I think that's how I think they've done it the right way. Just giving to India at this stage and testing how they can in front of their home crowd.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, do you think that somehow New Zealand, when you look at the last time's semi-final at Manchester, the WTC and the other tournaments that India has placed against New Zealand, do you think they somehow managed to put the jigsaw puzzle in place and somehow deconstruct the Indian bowling to the T? Your view, sir?
I think yes, they have played really well. And the way Daryl Mitchell and Rachin played, they really dominated Indian bowling. And it was all planned, and it was all part of their strategy that they'll attack Indian bowlers. And they have been successful in doing it. And fortunately for them, they succeeded in their plans. But I think it's not lost. It is not at all lost. I think India has got tremendous batting power, and I think we are capable of chasing a good total. The
Yes.
only important thing for me is the crucial first 10 overs power play. If we get even 50 runs and we don't lose a wicket, I
Right.
think the chase is on. The game is on for 300 runs even.
Absolutely. The game is on irrespective of the power play. Take a step back. We'll continue the same question. Has Kiwis created a template or understood the Indian bowling? Tasmin, Kuldeep Yadav, 10 overs, 73 runs, 2 wicket. Ravindra Jadeja, 10 over, 46 runs, no wicket. Mohammad Siraj, 10 over, 45 runs, 1 wicket. Tasneem, do you think somewhere Kiwi has just got down under the Indian skin and negotiated the bowling in the right way, right place, hitting the weak balls out of the park and just negotiating with the good balls? Your views, Tasneem?
I think definitely for me, I've been emphasizing throughout this tournament that where teams are definitely going to win it is building that big partnership. If you don't have at least 100-run partnership, you need to at least have at least 350-run partnerships in order for the stability to come along for you. I think they did great against Kuldeep for me today, as well as Jadeja. They didn't look to force the boundary shots. They were just there going with it as it was, taking the ones, taking the twos. If you look at the wagon wheel currently right now for Daryl Mitchell, he's got 38 ones and he's got a total of 7 twos. That tells you that he's been out there willing to grind today. He's been out there willing to take on the field and push those hard runs. Not the biggest boundaries out there, so definitely they've had to put the work in as well. I think probably someone they didn't exactly look to see out there for me today was Mohammad Shami. We've seen, your question to Bobby was, what happens with the seamers up front? And we've seen what happened with Shami today. Like you said, maybe they planned and dissected, but he was a late addition into the squad today. So someone today, he pitched it up. He had beautiful seam presentation for me up front. We've seen the dismissal that he had. We've seen that this pitch does offer a bit of a bounce, extra bounce to the seamers as well. And it was actually holding up. That, before you include the evening dew factor, I think it's going to make it very interesting.
Well, evening dew factor, you've raised a very interesting point. Chris, you're bowling in this situation.
Yeah.
What is the kind of seam would you like to take the seam up, or would you just like to take the wobbles seam?
Like I said, straight away with the new ball, I'll prefer just having seam up and see what it does. If it does swing or if it doesn't. But on these wickets also, when you, like you just mentioned something of holding the ball across the seam, that can actually even create doubts to the batters. It can bounce up. It can actually even, stay low. So those are you just said a good point there. If it doesn't swing with the seam up, and then I can just hold it across and see how it does on that wicket, especially at night.
Just explain it to our fans.
Move even at good pace.
Just explain it to our fans. What happens when you put the seam up and when you do cross seam? What does it do to the batter and the bowler and the pitch? Just explain that situation.
Okay, I'll explain this. When you are bowling, you're going seam up. What the seam up does, as a batsman, you're not so sure if the ball is going to swing away or it's going to swing in, because what it does is just all you're doing, you're using the surface of the wicket. And as a batsman, you're not so sure on what to expect. And then we come to the factor of holding the ball across the seam. If the ball actually hits with the side, it's got a tendency of just skidding on and not even bouncing a lot. And even if it does hit with the seam while it's holding it across, some balls can actually even bounce a little bit higher than you expect. So even when you look at it, when people bowl a bouncer, some of them, they actually go across the seam. That can actually create more bounce, or it can actually skid on. So just
stay on to that thought.
Out there.
Chris, stay on to that thought. And I'll now take it on to the super batting coach of Virat Kohli, Mr. Rajkumar Sharma. In this situation, as Christopher Mupufu explained how the cross seam is bowled and what are the implications to the batter. If you're the coach and you're expecting this kind of variation in the line, length, seam and everything put together, what would be your advice to your first opening pair and then the first, second, third, how to negotiate? Because remember, it's a dew factor. You also have a twilight zone where you have the lights and the sunset coming at the same time. Your views, sir, how would you tell your batters to negotiate this particular problem?
You're talking about batting,
Yes.
Sunil. I've already mentioned that it is very, very important that we have to tackle New Zealand's new ball bowlers. You know, they are very good at in power plays. They have done so well for their country and for their team. So I think it is important that if we doesn't attack too much on in first power play, and rather we play it safe and keep our wickets intact. You know, in 10 overs, if we don't lose a wicket or maybe a maximum one wicket and we score 50 runs even, then it is a good news for the Indian team because both their fast bowlers and, all the three fast bowlers, I would say, are, world-class bowlers and they'll go for wickets and they will attack. So I think it is important that we don't lose too many wickets in the first power play. And once it happens, then, India has a superb middle order today. So I think they can build on to any score which we have to chase. Looks like somewhere around 290 or 280.
Well, we've got a good news from the camp. Tasmin, you want to update? Virat Kohli seems to have taken a catch. Would you like to update our viewers what the situation is?
Yeah, definitely. So Virat Kohli has taken a stunning catch just off Jasper Bumrah's bowling. For me, Bumrah's been great in the death. You know, currently New Zealand are 260 for the loss of 7, and they have 2.2 overs left to go. So I'd say probably looking around that 275 mark, 280 mark, taking into consideration that the highest score India has chased down thus far in the World Cup is 273.
Absolutely. 273 is what Indians have chased. I'd like to come from where our super coach had left his thought. He said you need to prepare 50 runs in the first 10 power play, first 10 overs. Take a step back. If you're the coach on the other side and you're a batter as well, just take us through how would you create that 50-run number on the scorecard without losing a wicket? How would you do that? What would you talk to your other opener?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think that's a brilliant score. We did see New Zealand struggle a bit. They finished their first 10 overs after power play with 34 runs for the loss of 2 wickets and managed to reconstruct in the middle overs. But had they had a bit more runs under their belt, being the 50, I think they would have had a bit more momentum coming forward towards the tail. For me, I think it's super important because you need to get in there, you need to read the pitch, you need to analyze what's going. 5 runs and over is not the hardest thing to do.
Hold on to that thought, Tasmin, but you have 3 bowlers who are just steaming in and belting out 145, 46 miles per hour. How would you negotiate that kind of speed in this atmosphere, this dew, this light?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously they have to have a plan to it. You know, they need to know which are their scoring areas and their options as well to that. Shot selection is going to be key for me, especially knowing which shots to go after, which bowler to take on. And in the instances where it's not hitting your zone, it's not hitting the arc, probably look to use the pace of the ball. Just look to hit gaps and push those 1s and 2s because human error is common at the end of the day. This is a big match. At the end of the day, bowlers have their own thought processes, and their thought processes have to fall into the team plan as well. So you will get that 1 or 2 loose balls as well. So it's going to be down to the Indian openers to be able to be patient enough to wait for the one that they can put away and obviously get a boundary off of.
Chris, an important point Tasmin has made that human error is important, is always there in any big matches. But here, if you get the ball in your hand, would you like to keep it a little short? Or would you like to pitch it up? Because according to your theory, a couple of days ago, you mentioned very clearly, if you pitch the ball up, the ball is going to swing and it's going to get the purchase from the wicket and you're susceptible to take a couple of early wickets. What is the temptation you're getting into if you're a 145, 146 bowler?
Now, when you talk about 146, and I'm sure that that person mostly is Lockie Ferguson, who is definitely got the pace to bowl fast. But when you look at it, also you have to be a little bit thoughtful when you're talking about bowling to a guy like Rohit Sharma. For me, that's the contest that I'm really looking forward to seeing today. Lockie has been doing very well, with those short balls, but it's going because Rohit, I always, from the time even when I played against him, he just loves the short ball. It looks like he just gets him into that zone. So it will be good to see. Yes, like Tess said, human error is up there. He can miss time. One straight up 145 is 145 at the end of the day. Is quick enough. But it will be I'll still love to see with that 140 clicks, just trying to pitch it up and see what happens, especially early on. And then if it's not happening, you can pull the length back to that back of a length. He still has the right pace that can hurry them at the same time.
Sir, I'd like to come to Mr. Rajkumar Sharma. Very important point, Christopher, who's played for Zimbabwe for 15 years. He's been coached under Heath Streak. He's played some of the big mega matches. He's made an interesting point to pitch it up. But the other point is, if you bowl in the body and little short to Rohit Sharma at this point of time, he's got a average of strike rate of over 150 when it comes to the short deliveries in the power play. Would he still go for the hit, or would he just try to negotiate, duck, or go out of the way? Your view, sir, if it's bowled short in the body for him?
No, first of all, I think they'll try to bowl him up. They won't try him with a short ball, because everybody knows in the world that he's the best bowler and best hooker. So I think they're going to take chance with him. They'll try him to either cut or play drives so that they can have some sort of edge, or maybe he's been a suspect of LBWs against a basis. So Trent Bolt would be certainly a big threat for him. But bowling short, yes, I think Rohit will go for shots, and it's not a very big boundary. Sunil, I think he's capable of clearing any boundaries with his shots. So I think though Kiwis may try, if they don't get him out ball pitching up, they'll try short ball also. But Rohit is too good a player, on short balls, and I think he would love to have those short balls, and he can put them off away.
Sir, one interesting development that has just happened, and I'm reading it out, and it'll bring smile onto your face. Shami takes the 4th wicket. Shami is cooking. Would you like to address, and we've been saying that why isn't Shami playing all this while, just to accommodate Shardul Thakur? Shami has been kept away. Are you happy now that your thought is now vindicated in this match? Your view, sir?
Yeah. Sunil, I have been always in favor of playing Shami, because I feel he's a match winner. He is a wicket taker bowler, and that is what he has done. So I was really surprised that just for Shardul's batting, if 7 batsmen can't score those runs, why need the 8th one, And it is giving more responsibility to your top order also. And Shami, you can't make him sit. He's such a brilliant bowler who.
तो फिर सर ऐसा किया क्यों is the question the fans need to address, that for 4 matches he's got a bowling this thing of 4 for 44 in 9 overs. Wow.
Yeah, he's a brilliant bowler, undoubtedly. But Shardul was played because I think the team management wanted a all-rounder at number 8 or 9, and in a way they are right also. They needed depth in their batting. And because both the Bumrah and Siraj also doesn't bat, Kuldeep is also not a very good known for his batting. So it was a long tail. It would have been long tail had Shami played in place of Shardul. So that is why the team management wanted somebody at number 8 who can contribute. But keeping away Shami, I think India should have gone all out. And India has got the potential. Indian batting is such a strong unit. We have got so experienced players, and fortunately for us, everybody is in form. So there was hardly any threat about our batting. As a coach, I would have played Shami from the first game itself, because he's a tremendous bowler.
He's a tremendous bowler. What's the latest update, Tasneem, on the New Zealand innings?
New Zealand are currently 263 for the loss of 8 wickets. 2 quick wickets, like you said, coming in from Shami. I mentioned this, he's been brilliant for me. He's just your typical example of when opportunity meets preparation. He's probably been sitting on the bench waiting to get a chance. And New Zealand just left with just 1 over now. That 280 mark not looking so prominent for them right now.
Well, absolutely. Well, on that note, I thank all my guests for joining us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.